What's up guys, Dan here, Coalcracker Bushcraft. Today, more knife work and how to utilize your knife properly. We're gonna talk about power cuts. In a recent video, we talked about making perfect shavings to get those fires started, which also carries over really well to carving. But today, we're gonna talk about power cuts and what are power cuts and why you need to be using them. Okay, so first of all, what is a power cut? So a power cut is going to be when we utilize our knife to make really deep, aggressive cuts in a piece of wood. When would we be doing this? Well, it might be cutting down a sapling. It might be taking a stick that is already cut and needing to cut it to length. If we have just a knife and no saw along with us, maybe we're adding points to the back of larger sticks, or we're cutting things down. Maybe we're beaver chewing a larger tree down that we need for some structural component. Any of that stuff, a power cut is going to come into play. Now, just like anything in the outdoors, there are a ton of different things that can go on here with this, but I'm going to give you what I believe is the most important aspects of the power cut. Okay, so let's first start with grip. We're going to work back and forth on the knife itself. So when it comes to power cuts, okay, there's all different techniques. People use chest levers and knee levers and all this stuff, but I can tell you from firsthand experience and teaching a lot of people over the years that stuff, although it works, I'm not downing it. If you like that, by all means use it. Most people don't fall back on that, and it's very, I don't want to say technical, but it is somewhat more technical of a cut, and a lot of times you just can't get yourself in good positions unless you have just a nice stick that you can work with. So if we're working in a more adverse environment and there's all kinds of stuff around us and we're maybe in the rain under our shelter, you got to just use a straight up fist grip, okay? Now that is very important, and what's important with the fist grip is that we don't start sticking our thumb up. And the reason for that is because we want to generate as much power as we can from ourselves, put it to our knife to wood. So we need that chain reaction to stay good and strong. Now if you're thinking, well, whenever I cut something and I really need to put power in it, it's easier for me to put up my thumb. Well, I want you to think about this. If you would go in a doorway and put your hands up on top of the doorway and press, you're generally not going to put your thumbs out like this and press with your thumbs doing this motion. What you're going to do is you're going to put the base of your palm against that, and that's going to be how you're going to push the hardest. And the reason for that is just because of anatomy. We have all this bone structure behind, all right, that pushing mechanism. So when we push real hard like this, all of this structure is helping support. If you push with your thumb, there's a lot of give there and everything falls just on these little joints, and we don't want that. So no different than when we are going to make our power cut, full fist grip. You just got to get used to doing it. The next part of the power cut, okay, is going to be where on a knife do we actually cut. Okay, remember, we're making big aggressive cuts with this. So I'm going to use this stick as an example. I grab fist grip, okay, this is my blade. If I go and try to cut with this part of my blade, watch what happens. The stick moves, okay? It's a leverage thing. If I'm out here and I press, I have no strength to be able to hold that back. I can start to push, but I'm using way more strength than needed. If you come in real close here and I start to push, I can't, no matter what I do. My hand out-strengthens all of this because of the leverage. So when we make cuts and we have our fist grip in place, we're making cuts as close to the handle as physically possible. That's going to give us the most transfer of strength from our hand to our blade. That's where a lot of people start to sneak this up. Remember, thumb up, not good. And then the second part of this, if you still feel like you're losing, okay, a lot of leverage when you do that, that might have to do with the handle of your knife. It might be too small of a handle. One thing that I see time and time again a lot of individuals struggle with is being able to grip their knife properly. And it's because and it's a natural thing, when you pick up a knife, especially if you're like at a knife show or something, normally knives with big handles feel big and clunky, but it's probably more appropriate for your hand than the knives that feel real little and small. And because of the fact it's so small inside your hand that you can't get a good grip. So you're trying to over grip, it's still not working, and that little knife handle is so loose inside your hand you just can't get a good grip on it. So you want to make sure that if you are still struggling with that, and this is something that you've been working on for some time, a larger, thicker knife handle is going to work a lot better for you. Even though it might feel weird at first, once you get adjusted to it, you're going to say, yep, that's exactly what I needed. loaded. Now that we have a fist grip, we know where we're cutting is to make the actual cut. This is going to depend on what you're actually trying to accomplish. A good rule of thumb for power cuts is going to be a 45-degree angle. All right, so now we know how to grip the knife. We know where on the knife we should be cutting, and we also know the approximate angle we should be cutting at. So now it's time to cut, but there's actually one more thing. You need to use as much power as possible. So what that means is we're not just going to hold this piece of stick and just push with our hand. We want to either push with our hand and pull, or we want to use some body weight. So I'm going to show both ways. So if I was trying to cut a point on this and I need to get the material removed quickly, I want to get in a good position so the stick doesn't come back and stab me in the throat. So I'm going to get my knife ready, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to place my knife in this position. I'm going to pull the material and I'm going to push the knife at the same time. You could see this way I'm removing a lot of material quick and in a hurry. 45 degrees, and just like that. Okay, now it is a broken stick, but you can see how much material we removed quick. All right, so here's one of our workbenches. I could put the piece of material down. I could lay my knife now at that 45-degree angle, making sure I'm in a safe position, and then I could press my body weight down into this, and you can see as I do that, I'm removing a lot of material right quick and in a hurry. But as long as you know these two ends of the spectrum, the power cuts and the shavings, you will be good to go. So definitely give this one a shot. And remember, it's all about your body mechanics, positioning, and how you apply power to this thing. All right, so if you like this video, hit like and subscribe down below. You can also check us out at coalcrackerbushcraft.com for all our classes, our gear, and our blog. And until the next video, stay in the woods.